I'm in Vegas. And
Woohoo! Vegas, baby!
and I'm with Veronica Castro, who is a television hostess of Latin Eyes, which is produced down in LA, but
Yes.
she's from the Bay Area. And this is so cool because we get to meet a real television hostess. It's so awesome. Now, how did that happen?
It's been a process actually. I've always been fascinated by the entertainment world, and I've always had dreams of traveling, and just like every woman wants to do is travel. But I got a degree first, went to school at St. Mary's College in the Bay Area, got a degree in business and communications, and then kind of went back and forth with working with a talent agent, deciding if I wanted to do that. So I kept doing that and working on commercials. And then one day I was at an audition, and there was this guy doing the camera work during my audition. He's like, you know what? There's this show called Latin Eyes, and you'd be really good for it. I'm like, out of the blue, I'm like, okay. So I was like, well, yeah, I'll look it up. And didn't think about it.
Right.
Maybe a few weeks went by, and I went to my agent, and I was like, hey, have you heard of some show called Latin Eyes? Mm-hmm. My agent's like, that's so funny. Ironically, and I'm not kidding, I'm actually supposed to be having a meeting with the producer of Latin Eyes, and I have your stuff here. I wanted to go take it to them. And I was like, oh, okay, sounds good. We'll see what happens. So next thing I knew, I actually made a phone call to someone at Latin Eyes, and I ended up getting myself in. Because what ended up happening, the agent that worked there no longer worked there. After that week, I didn't hear back from her.
You gotta be kidding.
So then I was like, okay, well, there goes Latin Eyes. So I made the phone call, and I went in myself, and I did it, and I met the producer. And the producer was like, yeah, we'll try you, we'll see. And then it's been a few years that I've been there, and I never knew that it would lead to all the stuff that I've done on Latin Eyes. And I've gotten to do so much. I've met celebrities, I've met authors, I've met musicians, and I've gotten to travel. I've learned how to cook.
Well, there you go. We met.
Yeah. Which, I mean, my mother tried training me a little bit, but honestly, I've learned a lot from a lot of the cooking shows that we've done too. So.
Now, what was one of your favorite trips that you went on?
Gosh, let's see. Well, I've been to Peru, parts of Peru, and Argentina, and Mexico. I could go on, but I'd have to choose probably Peru.
Yeah, why is that?
Because it's probably like I think people don't really know what really they can learn going to a country like Peru.
Right.
Because there's so much that place has to offer. There's history, there's culture, and I'm into that. I love learning about culture and history. And I went to Peru, and I went to the most least likely place to go, and this place called Chachapoyas. And there they have history even beyond the history that we have in our history books.
Wow,
like
great.
It's stuff that you would never know. And I went there and I learned about it, and I learned about civilizations that I didn't know existed before.
Wow,
That's
great.
And so I would probably say Peru, and you have a little of everything there. The culture, the art, the history, the people, good food.
Food, yeah.
Good food.
Now, we've got Tango Diva members around the world, and they're watching this right now, and they're going, wow, she did it. She's living the dream, right? What advice do you have for women that are sitting at their computer stuck in their 9-to-5 job going, why am I doing this? What are some steps that you took that, share your sagely advice?
Oh, well, it's so funny because I've been there. I've been in those shoes, and I've been like, God, I want to travel. I don't want to, sit working at my part-time job or doing the other jobs that, I still kind of do.
But you're still living the dream.
But I still live in the dream. I tell them, I would tell them, honestly, if they really, really want to do it, do all that you can to make it happen.
Right, like you picked up the phone and you made a call directly to the show.
Yeah. Things don't happen, they just don't fall into your lap. You have to really make them happy. And especially if you're going through certain experiences, or if you've gone through crisis or something, and you want to travel and you want to just get away, I really, really think everyone should do it. Because I think you learn more about yourself, you learn more about another country, and I just think it's a matter of just being gung-ho and putting your foot down and going about and doing it.
Right. And I like the other thing that you said about, you're living your dream, but you're also doing other things. I think a
Yeah.
lot of times people don't understand how much work it took for you to get to where you're at. You didn't just like wake up one morning out of bed and say, I'm going to be a TV hostess.
Yeah.
You did a lot of work to get to where you're at.
You're right. You're so right. And it's a work in progress. It still is. And I did not wake up in the morning thinking I would be doing this. And it's been a few years, It wasn't easy. It's hard. A lot of people don't accept you, especially in this industry. And if you're Latina, if you're a woman, I feel it's a little bit more difficult. Maybe for some people it might be easier. But, I've had my hard times, and I've gone home, I've cried to my mom and my dad, like, oh my God, this isn't going to happen. And like, no, just keep believing. And I think that's the other thing, is that because I'm so closely knit with my family, and they're very supportive and encouraging of the things that I want to do, that also helped me.
Right.
And my friends as well.
Yeah.
They're all very supportive. But it's been really tough, and the journey doesn't end. It's always going to be difficult. Even just trying to get shoots and shows for Latin Eyes are difficult. It's really not that easy to put shows together.
Right, and you're writing the content as well, and coming up with the ideas.
Yeah,
And
I write the scripts. I come up with ideas. I try to edit as best as I can whenever I have time to do it. And yeah, I put a lot of work into it. I don't get sleep.
yeah, but you show up, and I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Now, kind of changing directions, this is my last question to you. What is like one little secret item that you pack that you wouldn't travel without, or an item that is like, wow, I never thought about that?
Oh my God, that's a good question. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that I always want to bring with me in my suitcase. But honestly, honestly, toilet paper.
There you go, perfect.
I think anywhere you go, you should always
Right.
be prepared to have that toilet paper.
That's perfect.
It's a little personal, but hey, it's true.
It is,
I mean,
especially in Latin American countries.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of what else. A good pair of shoes.
Yeah.
A good pair of shoes for, hiking, especially if you're going to be walking a lot. So a good pair of walking shoes.
Okay, you heard it
Favorite
here
pair. I
first.
don't have a favorite brand yet, but maybe one day someone will be
Yeah.
interested in sponsoring and
There you go.
giving me a pair of shoes.
I like that idea. Well, thanks, Veronica, so much.
Thank you.
And maybe we'll see you in Brazil.
Yes, that's right. With clothes on, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cool. That was awesome.
Yeah, fun, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, my dear.